So I've got this circuit board design I have to do. It's going to be pretty long, at least for me. Pretty tedious, but there's nothing difficult about what's happening. I thought I might make a good video for people using Eagle. That's a free software I'm using here. Or just people who are thinking about circuit board design, layout, options. So yeah, I guess I'll get started into it. So just showing what I have here. This is a harmonic optical tremolo that I'm working on. I got to get them done this month. I've got boards. I'm doing another revision. The previous boards, I found a way to make it same thing, but I've just got this idea I want to try. And I want to get everything perfect before I do the release, so I'm going to order these in this month, compare which one's better. It's just easier to design a board than mess around too much with what I've got, chopping it up. Like, I could do the mods on this one, but I just want to look neat. First up. Alright, so in terms of layout, I've got everything thoughtfully where I want it. No auto place or anything involved. There's a power supply section up here. An oscillator clock is sort of this corner here, and the audio section is pretty much everything down the left side here. Small chunk out there. The difficulties and troubles are that this is a noise generator, it's a switch mode supply, this is a noise generator, this is a noise receiver, I guess, and they all have to talk through this rotary switch here. So this switch is handling the oscillator signal and the audio signal, crossing over each other, and keeping them isolated as much as possible is the trick. And the quality of the layout and the thoughtfulness put in is going to come out pretty important here. So what I'm going to do, contrary to what people like, is I'm going to run the auto router, show you how that works, and that's going to try and connect up all the components for me in the smartest ways, or maybe not the smartest ways, but the maybe most effective ways. The exceptions are, I've already run these lines here, which is the true bypass, and I've also got some of these texts on the top layer. Red is the top layer. Because I'm not running a silk screen, I just want to put the text in the copper on the board, very old school, so you just read it. I don't want to jump out at people, just it's like a tech can look in and see what the ins and outs are. And the reason I've run this bypass is because I do want to keep it away from everything, audio, ins and outs, supply, right on the edge of the board, right up against the chassis too, which is all grounded, of course. If I didn't run this down and around here, there's every chance and likelihood the auto router will just sort of jagger it the most direct way from in to in here, which would work. It wouldn't be a problem. I don't think it's going to jeopardize the true bypass signal or anything. This circuit also turns the oscillator off in true bypass, so like it's running near the oscillator here, but it's not going to be running while it's in true bypass anyway, so there's no risk. This is all dead parts at that time, so there's no sound crossover, and even so there isn't any sound crossing over while it's all running. And there's no high gain or anything, so if you've got the clean signal running next to an amp, it's not going to have feedback issues or anything like that, like you might have with high gain fuzz, distortion, etc. So yeah, I'm going to get the auto router running because that takes a long time. This is only a dual core processor, so it sucks. If you've got a quad core with hyper-threading, you can run like 16 processing threads at a time. But this is just like a little Mac Mini I'm running on, so... And plus this software is super clunky in terms of its processing, but anyway. I can't, yep. So, you can see some of these are actually already coming through. It's going to run 22 different routers, and they're all slightly different. I get to familiarly see, like number 6, it has patterns that sort of, like I get to know the different auto routers and what they're going to come out with. It's kind of like the Magi on Evangelion. These are all coming up with 95.5% because I've put this wiring as trying to connect between two things which you can't bridge across this yellow boundary here. So it's never going to get 100%. So if it says 95.5, that's as far as it's going to get. I don't think any of these are going to fail and have any that they can't connect because it's not too dense. There's a lot of vias here, but I think one of these is going to come up with 4 vias, and that's going to be the one I'm going to pick. At least that's what happened before. I actually just started running this. I started the video to run it again. And this pushes the crap out of the processor. Like I can hear the fans spinning up. So in terms of the vias, usually, well, people don't like auto routers. They always say human thought is going to make the best, quietest layout, which makes sense. And that's what I always used to do. But what I've found, usually what I'm doing as a human is making everything the most direct path I can anyway. So I would like to do some human thought rerouting all this clock section around the switch, but I know the clock is going to cross over the audio. Like the clock's coming up and down this way. It's got the rate. I put everything to do with the oscillator on this side, the rate, the switch, the chip, and this is sort of the audio depth, boost, the audio chip, and power supply in the middle, which is actually supplying both. So that's another issue, trying to get clock noise out. So yeah, the thoughtful layout's probably just going to be the most direct one for me, unless I see things going unnecessarily, like an audio path going up and around the rate where it doesn't need to. So look at these guys go. These are some terrible ones, like this one's got, it's coming up and around. You do things like that at home when you're doing single-sided boards, but because we've got vias, you can get rid of some of those things. Usually the one with the least vias is the one I go for though, because it comes out the neatest. Like this one's got 5 vias. This looks pretty clean compared to, oh, it's not bad. Like this one looks pretty messy. And look at this one, is a bit neater. I don't see like traces running around. Things like this red trace here, it's sort of running around. Oh look, that's a horrible mess. So you've got this little pad here, which is coming up, down, running around, round, coming around something else again to get here. So this pad here is connecting to that pad there, but it's taken a big path to get there. And that's just the best the auto router could have done in that instance, without involving too many vias. And even that, it's got a lot of vias, that one. That's 18 vias. So you have the option to come through and pick. You'll find too the different routers. Let's take, yeah, so this one seems to have mostly taken left, right, up, down paths. Or no, sorry, let's say the blue one is left, right, and the red one is taking diagonal paths. Sometimes, okay, here's a good example. The blue is taking left, right, red's taking up, down mostly. And it's sort of given each layer a bias in one direction. So this one again, there's a lot of things going around. I've already checked these out prior. Like I ran this, and this is the one I'm going to pick because I can see like the clock is going straight up and down. All the clock things are straight up and down. So that's worked out well for this. This is the power supply for the clock, straight up and down. The audio is cutting at perpendicular to the clock, so that's good. The more you run things in parallel, the more they start talking, so keeping the audio, this one just worked out so well. I like to hide vias too, and I noticed like this via can hide behind this trim pot here. That one will hide pretty well. It's only 4. So this was probably, oh, definitely the smart layout that I could find. I'm just stalling a bit because I'm waiting for this top router to run. And this is completing the last one. And this is still working with the top runner right now. Top router. Alright. So 2 to 22 are all done. And just for fun, I was going to run this. If you've never seen this, it's pretty cool. It's sort of like an abstract becomes something that makes sense. And it's really clunky now because it's taking like all these little vector points it's put in just to work out whatever neurotic path it could take. Neurotic. And now it's forming something that makes a bit more sense. I'm not going to use this one anyway. I'm going to end up using number 4. So the top router isn't always the best. Oh, completed. And that's come out with 3 vias actually, so it's got 1 less via. And I did compare them before. The top router, it came out pretty good. But here the clocks are going... just this one was a little bit neater. In terms of the processing, how it carried everything, it sort of made more sense to me. Might not be as tidy. But anyway, let's do it. End job. And that's locked in. And I'll hit Command S to save. What my job's going to be now is I want to put my own touch on the layout. So I either have the option of going around and like tidying things up. I could do something like that. Move this over here so that it's got a bit of breathing space. But what I'm going to do is just one by one wipe them all out and hand draw them. Sort of retrace each one. So to do that, I don't normally do it this way. I'm just going to try this. Select the whole thing. I think you can do Command A as well. Yep. The keyboard shortcuts in Eagle are pretty terrible. If you're someone who's used to like illustration software and having one hand on the keyboard, no, this is like old man software. It's getting better. I really like it. So I'm going to use this tool up here, the change tool, because this way I can change a lot of things in one shot. And I'm going to make all the traces be really tiny. I'm holding Control Command as I click to apply everything. And this way, as I redraw them, because I'm going to draw thick traces, I'll be able to see which ones I haven't done yet. They'll jump out at me. Alright, I've just opened up an older version of Eagle, because as I redraw these traces, they changed the software a bit. I just prefer the old one, the way it draws. Like in the new one, I haven't been able to work out a way of doing it the way I like, so I just have an old version. I go back and forth between them. Anyway, you don't care. So, I'm going to start redrawing. You can evaluate now if you want to change some, for example, let's change the layer. What's the change tool? Change layer bottom. I might want to make these be the bottom layer and get those little fiddly bits, because this is the power supply. I want to sort of solder it on the same side that the component lead's going to come out and not rely on the via. Plus too, these diodes are really heavy and they sort of heat sink. Sometimes the solder doesn't come through onto the top layer when you solder through the bottom. And this has a Zener diode, a 12 volt, that's going to short out if there's a high voltage, so that short should shut down the power supply, but if it doesn't, it's going to really draw a lot of current. I'd rather the current high draw be on the bottom layer. Yeah, that's pretty tidy. And the rest, I think I'll just leave it. Some are up, some are down. There's benefits to the traces being on the top and the bottom. But for now, yeah, I reckon just leave it. It's sort of half-half, that keeps it pretty tidy. Alright, zoom in. Now you do have to click with the mouse a ton. There's no keyboard shortcuts, so I'm like going back, forth, that's really annoying. Eagle, if you're listening. You're not. No one's listening. Humans. I'm gonna redraw these. So width, I'm gonna do 0.35 millimeters, 0.35 millimeters. And I'm gonna use this one. I can see I just missed a little smidge there. The auto router is great at making those little crappy things, especially if you're running parts that aren't really gridded very well. These are gridded to about, well, not to about, to 0.25 mil increments. Further from that, I'm also, actually these ones I'm going to make really, really, really fat. Like I said, that's the power supply one. There's a chance it can short out. I mean, that's its job. It's going to short out if it ever gets needed to, so. Alright. Go back, we're still on 0.35. Now to make it, I'm going to work on the top layer first. It's usually the busier layer. And just to make it less cluttered to my brain, I'm just going to turn off the bottom layer. And then it's just a long stretch of this. I'm only going to do little sections at a time so I can keep track of what I've done. It worked pretty well. And I'm trying to usually just start with the smallest ones first. Yeah, and this is sort of reminiscent of how people used to sort of track this down on clear photo paper, and you know, it sort of looks like someone's using a whiteout roll-on to draw the traces. But I like what I end up with compared to the rigid matrix sort of looking auto route things people normally do. Later on I'm going to take all these texts, R21, R13, and also put them on the top layer. So like I said, I'm not running a silk screen. No, I'm just trying to avoid this copper bit here. It wouldn't matter if I did hit it, unless something else hit it on the other side, but I just don't, yeah, I want to avoid it. Yeah, I was still just looking for the easiest ones. If you start deleting too much at one time, you start forgetting how they interconnect, and then the when it shows you the unrouted paths, sometimes it goes direct to nearby other components instead of the route you're trying to take. Now, what was I doing? Was it this one? Yeah, it was. So it's come up through that LED. I don't know, I'm sort of tempted to come up this other way. I think it might be a better idea. And come a bit closer. So that's a switched earth. I still want to stay away from it, even though it's earth. So that's the clock's own earth. Sort of everything is star grounded in a sense. Yeah, come up. So in an instance here, I've got two choices at which end I start on. Because it's sort of this method, this one up here, the Y bend style 7, continues whatever vector you're coming from, it'll curve accordingly. So that sort of works okay. If I did it the other way though, it would like do that, which that should be a straight line. Doesn't really make sense. I'm going to do neither. I'm going to start from there to there and then give that one some breathing space when that comes through later. Actually looks a bit ugly. Yep. And again, this one is a good example. If I started there, went from there to there, probably doesn't make as much sense as if I went from here up to here. And that works really neat. I also could have just done that, like that's a direct line. But let's put this touch in, a little bit of human squiggliness. I kind of like that. So this one I've got a choice. I can either, when they tee off, I think I'll just run it down and up. Even that's what this little purple line's showing me. And I'll just do it that way. No squiggle this time. So I had to really click if you just keep finding all those little rubbish bits. And this one. So I've got, see how it's gridding there? It's locking in certain spots. I've got them at increments of 0.25 mil, but if I hold option, it does the finest option, so I can just put it to the pixel on the screen, whatever, without any restriction. I'm going to get this angle, so I'm going to come down and then swoop down there, so I don't want to come down too sharp yet. Something like that. That. Nice. Hit save. For software doesn't really crash, I guess, just good habit to keep saving. I'm also running time capsule, so it's doing backups every hour, so that's pretty important, I think. You can go back and look at what you were doing if you make a mess or whatever. Okay, before I get too carried away with this one, I wouldn't mind seeing if I can move this via to be entirely under the cap just to hide it. And that worked out well with the bottom layer, so that's why I just turned that on to check. Yeah, sort of a bit happier with that. So I'm going to come obviously around here. I'm just starting, sort of plotting where the curving points are going to begin, like keep everything fairly isolated, but still I want to take a direct path. Head left at the yin and yang. And I wasn't watching this video here. How did that look? Yeah, I might do the same thing. Or not. Yeah. I'll just leave it. Alright, so the simple ones are disappearing. Maybe later I'll move this trace to the bottom. No, I can't. Well, if I move that to the bottom, I'd have to make this one a top. I can do that. And then this one also a top, which I can't do unless I make this one a bottom, and so on and so forth. So I'll just leave it. Reason I wanted to do that was this text here is going to have to be the top layer, and I didn't want them to bump together, but they can bump together. Won't matter. That isn't a transistor, that's an IC 9-volt regulator. So the idea was the oscillator, if you gave it different voltages slightly, so you had a dying battery, it wasn't 9, it was down to 8, the optics would run darker, so you'd lose volume. So it was voltage sensitive, but it was all designed around 9 volts. So the way I've fixed that in this version is a charge pump at the top, boost it up, double it, and then re-regulate it down. And the advantage of that too is I could isolate it from the main supply, because there was so much voltage and to drop off. I could put in a 220 ohm resistor in series, and then refilter that, and that put in a lot of isolation to keep the noise away, because the power supply is also being shared with the audio section. Yeah, it worked out pretty well. Let's give myself a pat on the back for each one I'm doing here. Ah, this is the one we were doing before when we stopped. And by we, I mean me. I don't know you. This video hasn't even been uploaded yet. So this is taking a bit of a path around. It's not that direct, but I looked at this before. What it's going near and etc. isn't a problem. Wow, was that going through there? It was. It's going to be a tight squeeze. So I want to try and straighten it up pretty well before it gets there, because I don't want to... Yep, sure. Might take another whack at that, I don't know. No, I guess it's okay. Plus, you know, this part's going to be covered. It's pretty functional. It stayed away from this. Squeezed through, came back up to... Yeah. Maybe... Nah, it's fine. And then after this is done, I have to do the other side, of course. So this is the side that people see, so it's got to be the prettiest side, I guess. Rip up tool. And I'm clicking away like crazy, just trying to find any remnants of... See, look at that, all that mess. And then I have to remember what connected to where and how. Let's run that down there. And then this one, it's up to me. I've got a choice. I can either run it up or down. I guess I'll go down. And I'll go around these texts intentionally, because that'll give me some space to put in all this information on the top later. For example, I'll probably just chuck that there. I don't need to write what it is, I just am. If it fits. If it didn't, I could have deleted it, it's not important. That's a good little squeeze. It's not showing. Those were connecting before. So this is what can happen. My memory wasn't the best, and I might just have to hit Command Z a few times. I'm pretty sure that connected up here. Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm talking about. I didn't have to connect this one this time. So do pay attention as you're doing the rip up, because these start becoming unreliable. So I'll keep that off, and I'll just draw that to there, and I think that'll be it. Yeah. And then that switch must be connecting on the blue layer, bottom layer. Yep. Now is that clever? Yep. I want this path to come pretty much directly to the IC, which it hasn't, but going via that LED is not going to hurt. This component here is actually a capacitor on the underside. I just didn't have space. Maybe I could have put it in, but yeah, I'll just keep it there. It works there. If I shuffle everything across, I'm running more audio and clock over the top of each other. That's just a good spot for it. It keeps it away from all the audio that's switching up here. Anyway, thinking to myself, at somebody. Look at that jagged little thing I had to draw. Alright, now just try and memorize. It came, doesn't matter what path you take, just what you connect. Rip up. So this one's working well, because this purple unrouted path it's showing me is exactly what I need to connect. Here to here to here, round somehow to there. How did it go there? Must have gone up that way. Yep. So you always have that option, just hitting Command Z and then Command Shift Z to put it back. Alright. So I'm thinking not to go directly, I'm thinking to come in a way where I can curve it back up again. Like if I come in directly there, the next one's going to come out way out here before it goes up, and then by the time I go there it's going to swing around some other stupid way. So I'm coming in on a bit of an angle so that I can curve up and then keep going up, and I'll keep that there. And then come in from the other side. Jagger. Swing around a bit. Now this isn't looking very pretty, I gotta admit. Probably couldn't get that kink out, do that one again. Unfortunately, you can't really go back, you just have to start the whole trace again, the way I'm doing this. Say I make a mistake, I go, oops. The next one I don't have the option of continuing that curve, it just starts a brand new line. So if you want to make it look continuous, the easiest way is just to start again. There's tricks around that, but hopefully that won't come up and I won't have to do it. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't like that it's come down and there's the concave sort of look after. So I'm going to try it again. Of course, each time you try it again, hopefully you get a tiny bit better at it. Yeah, guess that'll do. Hopefully no one's going to pay attention too much. So what else have we got? This one looks like it's an awkward shape, especially when you have T's coming off, so again, remembering how it looked. Let's see how I go. I'm gonna tee off from here, because if I don't, I'll just try and come in from here, it's not gonna... Usually I try and avoid tees, but this one's gonna make sense. Oh, I thought I was aiming for that one, so I made a mess. Start that again. Yeah, this will be hidden. Hit save. I'm just looking for more easy ones. It's an obvious one. Alright, let's try this one here. And again, I might move that VR. Perfect, that'll fit. Just one notch, that'll do. Hide the bottom layer again. Alright, so that came like here. It's getting there, sort of. Alright, how do we do this? Up here, around there, around... Wait, what? Why are they not connected? This one's going to be a bit tight. If it gets too tight, you know, you can always reevaluate. Oh, I'll start there again. Did I just forget to do that one before? Looks like it. Let me check the bottom layer just quickly. Yep. Okay, I'm trying to keep the runs as long as I can. The less vector points you add, the neater it sort of looks. Just flows better. No one's going to see this, but still, It's kind of tight. Oh, too wavy. Start again. That's good in one shot. Come up here. Alright. I'm going to do them one at a time because that way it's a fail-safe for my memory. Let's do this one, looks easy. Again, this is one where the unrouted purple line there is not going to be so reliable. I'm going to leave room because that one beside it is going to have to be thickened up pretty soon. Let's do that now, I guess. Let's remember it goes alright, so this way that purple unrouted path is still reliable. It's connecting the right parts, but it just doesn't show a very usable route. Just showing the closest bird's eye path as the crow flies. Ooh, swing around this. Yeah, it's looking a bit ugly. What can I do? No, start again. I'll come up a bit higher this time. Yeah, it's better. It's still coming on too much of an angle. Nope, missed it. But that's okay because that's hidden. I can just tidy that up. Yeah, that works out. Looks a little hand-drawn. I'll try and take it from the other side. Yeah, that's come out better. Yeah. Oh, that's even better still. This one, I did see the top router choose not to come too close to the edge. So the software is giving me this warning like, you're too close to the edge. But it's fine. I'm sure the PCB house will have no issues with that. This one I'm just going to do direct lines. Alright, this is Earth. Well, that's made a problem. So I'll start from here. Swing around, no, it's a mess. Missed again. Bit too close. Yeah, pretty good. Now I'm really running out, or have I run out? So it's showing that I want to connect these, but it can't. Might as well rip that up. Otherwise it's going to go in the file as a trace later. Oh, here's one. Ooh, how do I do this? Like that. Let me look and see what's actually a smarter idea. I don't think it's gonna matter. Yeah, I'll just keep it like that. I guess. Yeah. Alright, any more thin traces left? Not done. I think that's it. So while I'm here, I'll come back to it later. Yeah, I'll do the traces first. Now wash and repeat for the blue bottom side. Wah, wah. Still on 0.35 millimeters, not mil as in software, mil. So this one I put a bit of thought into where I start. If I start from here, you know, I've got to do something like that. It might not come out straight. It would be better off coming from here, come down. And that's worked out neater. Same with this one. If I started from here, went down, yeah, that works. But this one looks better. Parts are placed, they're gridded up. It looks thoughtful. So I wish there were keyboard shortcuts. So there's a lot of clicking. Alright, this is another via. What do I do with this sucker? Probably just keep it there. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. I'll leave it there. Might have been nice to hide it a bit, but it'll still be hidden actually. That works out. Now I said I'm using 0.35 millimeters for the trace spacing, but it could have been anything. Often I'll run 0.4. Just depends how complex the board is, what the chances are of things bumping into each other, but this isn't too over the top. It's a pretty complex board, just because of that rotary switch running everything back and forth. But it's not really stressed for space. And doing the bottom side here is only for me. I'm the only one who's ever going to see it. So here, if I start from here, I can't really go there. Same problem if I start from here, can't really go there. I want to sort of curve out, and so the trick will be I'll start from the middle one, and that's what I want. So you're going to just got to remember 1, 2, 3, 4. Pads that have to connect up here. I think I'll do that one direct. And this one fairly direct. Yeah, so I got the same problem. What I might do is start from this middle one. There are other ways around this, but this is the least effort. Oh. Okay, here's a long one. So remember there, onto the cap, and then down probably all the way to the IC, yep. So let's get going. Did it come up this way before? Either way, I'm going to run around this way for sure. Whoops. So these bypass ones I made thin when I did them all in one shot. Not a problem. And again, the most direct path for these is probably going to be the best, so just a diagonal line. It's not restricted to 45-degree angles. And you'll see the bottom layer usually is a bit easier. It's less involved because I think Autorotor tries to put more stuff on the top layer because that's not the working layer that you're soldering to. So you're less likely to make shorts and stuff where the solder mask hasn't covered up. And these circuit boards won't even have a solder mask. I'm not doing silk screen or solder mask. But I am doing nickel and gold plating over the copper. This one is working around a bit, which sucks, but it's not working around anything critical. So here we go. And continuing. Sure, why not? Yeah, I'll keep that, that's fine. So when I'm doing things like that, I'm thinking when I solder this, usually I sort of spread the legs out a bit and bend it down, so I would like to keep that spaced away from the donuts, but same deal is going to go for this cap. So pretty much a good layout is just one that doesn't have problems and won't have assembly problems like legs that are going to short out and stuff. And if you do find anything on your layouts, just put in a little note for revision. So that's going to go up R13. Down, 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 down. Wow, that's a long way down. Okay. I'm going to start from the bottom because this looks like it's going to be really fiddly to not bump into that other trace and also get a straight vector. Like it's not doing here. Let's change. See what happens. Turn that off. I'm worried about what it's doing down here. Alright. Well, that more or less worked. Let's continue. Now, it's not doing a squiggly path here, but if I continue this, then the next one will. I'll leave that gap for the text to say C4. Oh, that's on the other side. Alright. That's about as good as that's going to get. It is running close and in parallel with the bypass signal, but again, that's only going to be an issue when the effect is engaged. And when it's engaged, I also know it actually wouldn't be an issue, so it's not an issue. The way this foot switch is wired, it also mutes the inputs and outputs on bypass. So input and output caps are discharged, and the op amp can't go out of control. It's got a dead signal at its input, can't do anything funny. So even in bypass, I'm not expecting it to, you know, howl, or not that it would have been a problem. TLO 72 running low gain, very low gain. The most gain I'm asking out of it is 5.7. Yeah, let's take that more directly. Alright, take this one for depth, which runs straight into the boost pot. Can almost do it in one shot. Not bad. Not bad. Let's see, so that's pin 7 of the IC. Oh, I missed one little squiggly down there. How'd that come up down here? Ooh, that's tight. Okay, so I might just sort of reevaluate that. This one is running around a bit, so I want to avoid that, but probably avoids a VIA. Not that VIAs are evil. Okay. So this is the power supply. It's coming off a 6,800 microhenry inductor here. Let's straighten this. We're going this way, weren't we? And I do wish this one wasn't running around so much, but no harm. I'm not expecting any noise on the supply anyway, like that would be a problem if there was. That'll do. I like the curve of that. And we're running out of traces, that's good, because, you know, I'm getting hella bored of this. Okay, just trying to pick out, you know, that's a simple one. Okay, the right pot comes down, not bad. This one's going to be squiggly, let's face it. Oh, yeah, make it, come on. I don't want to run too close to that. try again. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how much space those guys are going to take up later. I guess we'll find out later. I can always redraw it. So this one I've taken fewer vector paths. And it's come through no. Yep. Now I want to do this one here, but I think I'll do this one here first so that I know how much space. Wow, that's a real runaround. Oh. Let's do an easy one first. That worked well. Usually it doesn't. Alright, this one. That is a bit of a mess. Sort of lucky this is on the underside so people won't see it, but then it's unlucky because it's on the underside, so that's the business end of the board. Oh no, it's a little bloody... So I'm gonna make sure... Yeah, that worked out. So I just made sure that that trace went to the center of the donut, not that little bit of trace I didn't delete from the auto router. That worked. Oof. So, this one's a problem. This one really sucks. This is audio. It did have to come up to the switch, but the path it's taken is underneath the clock sort of components. What can you do? And most of the routes will have something like that you don't love. Probably to jump, it would have been a heap of ears, which might have made more mess. Hit save. I'm running out of traces to find. Is that it? Write down in the comments if Darren missed a trace. It's looking pretty good. Now I had these. I just wanted to put a reminder about for myself about the reverse capacitor here. That'll work. Okay, that's just some plain text. Let's go on the bottom side now. I'm going to change some of these grey texts into actual copper text to go on the top and bottom layers. So in this case, do the bottom. These are all labels for the pots. I stick them on for myself just because I want to make sure I don't accidentally put the wrong pot in because I'm flipping it, look at the wrong side of the board, wrong side of the box. It's a common mistake. You're inverting things. Doesn't happen often, but if it happens once, that's too much. And if you could have avoided it. So just having the value and the name of the pot makes me think, and when I'm stuffing them in later, you know, sometimes you're rushed or tired or whatever. Human error. But it's going to be a fail-safe that I don't. I'm much less likely to put in the wrong pot. You put in the wrong pot into this. Oh, you don't want to pull it all apart again. It's just going to ruin like your mood, you know. Just to make it neat, instead of doing top left, I'll do bottom left. Just so I get the spacing symmetrical. I think I'm the only one who's going to see this. This is me being neurotic. I'll do. And that's it, I think. 3 pots. Nothing else on the bottom side. I think we're done with this layer, as far as I know and can tell. Hit save. So we'll work on the top layer, do the same thing. This one's going to be much more time consuming. Pretty much everything here I'm going to have to change to top. I wonder if I can just hit, can I just do like select all? Yeah, it looks like it. I've never tried this. Layer, top. That's not so bad. Alright, tell you what, I'll do the same thing again. I'll just turn off some layers so they're not selected. 20. What about that one down there? T-docu. Yeah, okay, cool. This might actually work. I'll do the same thing, change all the layers. Top for all these grey texts. I think that worked out. So I've got layers to help me place everything, and that goes layered with the art software for them to match up the enclosure. Yeah, alright, let's push through this. I also want it on that one, that one, that one. These ones aren't as necessary because it's not a soldering thing, it's just a diagnostic text sort of thing. You can see what the pots are. Okay, now I'm going to look for anything where they're hitting. This wouldn't have been a problem. It's running into the trace, who cares? But, I mean, it doesn't look nice, so let's move it across. This one. Same thing, that wouldn't have been a problem, but even if it comes close and shorts like a tiny bit by accident or something, it's fine. But my goal is to still have these be hidden. So it's coming up with like a little error here, or a caution that these are in proximity. It's getting a bit close. They might short. It might not etch very clean. But who cares? That's if it did, you know. Ooh, okay, this one is not happening. I got nowhere to put that. So I guess my options are either have to put it outside somewhere, or just delete it, or maybe do something naughty. It's very hard sometimes in this software to select what you want. Rotation, where is it? Do I have one? Angle. Well, I could do that, I guess. I don't know if I like that either. I think I'll get rid of it. It's going to be that one thing on the board that I'll be looking at. Alright, back to it. So yeah, this is the home stretch actually. This is the last bits. Maybe I'll make a Gerber file out of it. Again, I'm just looking around anything that's bumping onto traces. That worked out okay. I should put that there. Alright, okay, this was a problem. These are actual labels. That one's easy. That one can probably just go up here. Done. Harmonic. And this one, not so easy. Where can it fit, you know? Oh, actually, maybe up there sort of works. Yeah. If it's in line with the other one, I'll get the Y off that one. Y-axis. I might just leave that. What can you do? I guess actually if I put that there, that works. That'll be cool. Alright, any more? Here's one. Like I said, it is very hard sometimes to get the right one, and then it goes to this selection tool thing. I don't know. Probably there. Yeah. Well, up the top seems to have more room. Probably edge that out. Really annoying, it keeps changing to the selection tool up here and you click the wrong thing. So yeah, this is the free version of Eagle. Contact me if you want a copy of this parts library. I'm just still looking around, anything bumping. Can't see anything yet, but you know, check for errors. Airwise 9, which I'm hoping are all the foot switch. Yes, 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 yes. All good. Clearance. That's going to talk. Oh, okay, that is an issue. I didn't see that before. Just move that up a smidge. Done. Clearance, yeah. Yep. This will show me. Oh, what? I didn't delete that? Oh, it's just rating it for some reason still. Why is it doing that? Guess I'll just ignore it. Right. Yep. Yep, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's as good as that's going to get. That's fine. Dimensions. It's going to talk about issues with these bits going off the edge of the board. And I think that's it. Well, that was a big stretch. Thanks for watching. Talking it out probably helped me a lot. I don't know how long that took, but time for a tea or something. Maybe go mow the lawn. So yeah, I'd export that as a Gerber now, which I won't do in this video. Chances are I'll probably stare at it a bit, find some little tiny things to shuffle around. Beyond this for sure. But I've run an error check, so the fundamentals, I didn't forget to connect something up or connect something backwards. The software's sort of taking care of that. So I'd be fairly confident this is all going to run fine. Maybe I can find things to beautify it a bit, or maybe I could change some layers. But yeah, thanks for watching, and ta-ta.